Hello, this is Spellbinders reporting on the unfiltered news headlines from the Reality Zone, compiled by G. Edward Griffin himself, with the help of News Scouts. News Scouts. Excuse me. Wet my whistle. The comic strip self-explanatory. What do you mean you need a bailout? In the monopoly game of the world, he has all the money and wants a bailout. It explains everything. New EU treaty that expands EU power and allows intervention in national budgets was accepted by 23 countries but rejected by the UK. 12 countries rejected the treaty in the euro. Daily Mail, December 9. The U.S. John Corzine, former CEO of bankrupt MF Global, claims he has no idea where the missing $1.2 billion went. Sure. Business associates say the company stole the money from customer accounts and moved it into their own. Daily Mail, December 8. Iran broadcast photos of CIA drone that it forced, Iran broadcast photos of it, forced down last week. Initially, the U.S. denied that Iran had the drone, but now says it was outside of Iranian airspace when it was taken. Sure. Yahoo, December 8. Tennessee federal agents demand customers list from a Mormon food storage facility. FEMA has recommended that citizens keep an emergency supply of food in the event of disaster. On the other hand, the Department of Homeland Security has declared that anyone storing food should be monitored as a potential terrorist in the United States of Soviet America. The reason for demanding a list of customers was not to congratulate them on following the advice of FDA. Oath Keepers, December 8. Congratulate? Too late. New Zealand is considering a bill to make growing food or saving seed a privilege granted by government rather than a human right. Isn't that very collectivist? This concept, which is harmonized with the UN Codex on Terrorists, is encouraged by big agribusiness, which wants to patent and control all food supply, with governments serving as their enforcement agency. They piggyback these guys on their back with guns and missiles and whatnot. Natural News, December 7. Milk thistle. That's right, milk thistle. Extract has been shown to stop the spread of lung cancer. Check it out. Natural News, December 7th. U.S. contractors are being sought to outfit FEMA camps across the country to be used for civilian detention in national emergencies. This is in the wake of last week of the passage of the National Defense Authorization Act, which makes it possible for the government to arrest anyone without charges or trial and detain them indefinitely. Should tell us what is planned for December 6th. U.S. The National Defense Authorization Act that allows indefinite detention of Americans also has a provision to legalize bestiality in the military. Sex with animals. These laws are drafted and passed by Republicans and Democrats alike, who are admired by the voters. That wouldn't happen if more people read unfiltered news. Animal Law Coalition, December 6th. Very sick. Sick. Control freaks. Psychopaths. Sociopaths. Anyways, video. Human fly scale sheer cliff thousands of feet straight up with no rope and no net. Just fingers and toes. Click to be amazed by this man's feat. Bill Clinton is said to have collected $50,000 a month as an advisor to the failed MF Global hedge fund. Sounds like Gingrich and his Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Another advisor to a company was Tony Blair, former Prime Minister of the UK. This is another reminder that the free market long ago has been replaced by graft and political favoritism. Infowars, December 6. BP Oil accuses Halliburton of destroying the evidence over Deepwater blast to protect itself from blame. I have very many videos explaining that. They got away with murder. Daily Mail, December 6th. U.S. Talk to God. Get a shot. Federal government is soliciting churches to promote vaccines. Maybe the vaccine against God. Who knows? Mercola, December 6th. Read and find. U.S. government refuses to prosecute Merck and other drug manufacturers who have committed fraud and whose products have killed people because federal law prohibits doing business with companies convicted of serious crimes. If the companies were convicted, Medicare, Medicaid, and the Veterans Administration would be barred from using their products. Maybe a good thing. Just watch the commercials on TV. This will cure you of this, but you'll get this and this and this, and you'll have to start maybe taking medication for that, and so on and so forth. Simply stated, Big Pharma is above the law. A&H, December 6th. The people of India own 11% of the world's entire supply of refined gold. Acquisition has increased lately because gold is considered as savings instead of merely ornament. They are very wise. IB Times, December 5th. U.S. Navy purchases 450,000 gallons of biofuel to test effectiveness of so-called green energy sources. Sounds good, but the price is $15 a gallon, nearly 4 times more expensive than the regular jet fuel. That will not deter the Navy because the price is no object. It will come from taxpayers, you and me. Wired, December 5th. U.S. Ron Paul wins the Oklahoma Republican straw poll by a landslide. Go Ron Paul. Daily Paul, December 5th. Mortgage video. Fraud in Wall Street has been ignored by government regulators. No high-ranking Wall Street executives have been prosecuted despite the overwhelming evidence of criminal activity. 60 Minutes. You can see part 1 and part 2 here. I will have a link to this at the bottom of the video in the description. Now they want our chocolate, too. Mars Candy Company and the USDA are working to genetically modify cocoa beans to produce a more commercially profitable chocolate. Of course, it's for your health. Natural Society, December 3rd. Video. Doctors who contracted multiple sclerosis and was in a wheelchair changed to a primitive diet, and within a few months was walking, bicycling, and horseback riding. Clinical trials with other MS patients have shown similar results. Here is her amazing story. Remember, multiple sclerosis is not a death sentence. Remember, as you watch this, that orthodox drug-based medicine considers multiple sclerosis to be incurable. Don't listen to them. They will kill you and make a profit. YouTube, December 3rd. U.S. agents are caught laundering millions in Mexican drug money. The government brushes it off as merely part of the process by which they track drug dealers. Sure, just like supplying automatic weapons. It's like automatic weapons. Oh man. And to drug dealers, it was supposed to help them put them out of business. In truth, it is an increase in drug-related violence benefits those who want to rule with an iron hand because it frightens people into accepting gun control and expand police power in the name of stopping the violence. Totalitarian governments have not won the war on drugs because they want it to continue forever. And it goes away. New York Times, December 3rd. So-called war on drugs may have failed in its pretended objective of stopping drugs, but it is a huge success in its real objective, which is to benefit the special interest groups that promote it. Here is a disgusting story, activist prose. The activist post is good, December 8th. The war in Iran has already started. There has been explosions at Iranian military bases and nuclear sites, assassination of scientists, cyber warfare, military drone strikes, and financial sanctions. These are tools of warfare. Daily Mail, December 6th. Video. Most wines have sulfur dioxide as a preservative, but some organic wines emit this process, which makes them tastier with less toxic effects. This is almost as infomercial, but we think the information is important enough to overcome that handicap. Cheers. Drink more wine without sodium dioxide. Sulfur dioxide, actually. December 3rd. U.S. Why local police increasingly become militarized. We are peaceful protesters treated like criminals and enemy combatants who are doing the training. You may be surprised at the answer. War is a crime. December 3rd. Video. Navajo Reservation, Arizona and Utah was mined for uranium for decades, and when the mining stopped, no one cleared up the toxic remains. Oh, and it's influencing them. December 2nd on YouTube. We invite readers' comments. U.S. Newt Gingrich's record shows that he is a political chameleon who speaks in defense of the Constitution but is quick to support unconstitutional policies, especially when he is enriched by them, making money. What else would one expect from a member of the CFR, Council of Foreign Relations? Yahoo, December 2nd. Hedge fund. Insider explains that hedge funds enable very wealthy to operate beyond regulatory restriction, can leverage their money 15 times and receive massive tax breaks. His advice to all other investors: get out of the market and stay out. In the long run, you can't compete with a stacked deck. Zero hedge. I'm Paul, and the video comments on recent action of the Federal Reserve in which it lowered interest rates to less than 1%. And it is a swapping U.S. dollars for European currency, injecting more fiat into the Europe, and will only make the inevitable collapse worse and will further destroy the U.S. economy. Wise words, Ron Paul. And here's the great. These are older articles from last week. I covered all the new ones. Until next time, this is Spellbinder saying check out this newsletter. It's pretty interesting. A great photo. Some photos have just have to be shared. That a bird putting his wing around the mouse. Feather around the mouth. That's unspeakable. Anyways, it's just beauty. Okay, that's the reality zone for this week. And Oop, there it is. With Edward Griffin. Until next time, be good at it. Good day.